All right, I'd like to start by bringing out running backs by week 11 touches and that are less than 90% rostered. Tyrone Tracy up first for the Giants. He's almost fully owned, but he had 23 touches. He's just right under that 90% threshold. How about Sean Tucker here? Come in with 21 touches. Wow, explosive week. You can see the points there. Hey, with Bucky Irvin, questionable to come back for week 12, right? And Rashard White is still there functioning too. So it might be crowded there at Tampa. We have to see. How about Singletary there with those 17 touches for a new coach? Got some goal line work there. They're both trying to replace Scatbo. He's probably more available than Tyrone Tracy. How about Kenneth Gainwell? All right, Kenneth Gainwell pops in here. Big week. Of course, Jalen Warren got hurt. He is questionable for the next week, so that makes Kenneth Gainwell on the radar for waiver wire. How about Chris Rodriguez? He's been playing pretty good these last few weeks, right? He's been scoring pretty good there. And, of course, Bill down here with 10 touches. So he out-touched Bill here 16 to 10. All right? So, and this Krosky Merritt just hasn't been doing anything these last few weeks, right? So Rodriguez, he pops up there on the board, right? So, and we got Bashful Tootin pops up with a big week. Now, he is questionable for next week, so we have to keep an eye on that. He's been lingering there in Jacksonville for a while. He's just growing more and more there in that backfield there. Swift's still there playing, but hey, Monaghan's been getting more and more touches every week. So Tony Pollard with 13, he's dropping down. He probably been just now making the 90 under the 90%. He's just not, with a Sharon and a bad team. Hey, that doesn't get you very far, does it? Emmanuel Wilson. Now this is a good one here. He had popped in here. Looks like he had 12 touches for the week, scored good. And, of course, it all depends on Josh Jacobs' availability for week 13. He is questionable. Has some knee contusion. All right, how about Bill? We talked about him dropping down. He's almost droppable at this point if Rodriguez is going to be taking his lunch money. And Spears here, hey, he's sharing there. Hey, that's why it brings both of the tendencies down. Bam Knight popped in here with got some touches here. Still Arizona's kind of up in the thing. Blake Corum, a bad week, drops down. Had been doing a little bit better, but still he shows his relevancy with 9 touches. Ollie Gordon got a touchdown, right? He had 9 touches on the week. And Brian Robinson Jr., Keaton Mitchell here had 8 touches. And LaQuinton Allen's popping in here for Jacksonville, got 8 touches. So that's the look at the running back touches. Let's get them ranked for this week. All right, let's get started here with Emmanuel Wilson, all right? You're going to fill in, a couple fill-in possibilities here. Is Josh Jacobs, is he going to be out? Josh Jacobs is out. It's got him questionable. So if he gets in there, Emmanuel Wilson, he does. Hey, look, he did pretty good this last week when he gets 12 targets for the week, right? Or touches, combined running attempts or passing targets. So he'll be a hot name. Got to watch. And they've middle of the road here. They're at home against Minnesota, but that's still, if he'll be the number one there, if he's in there. How about Kenneth Gainwell? Right? Kenneth Gainwell pops up there with a big week last week. Well, it's all going to be dependent on Jalen Warren, who's questionable. So, but anyway, Kenneth Gainwell, someone to own anyway, because you just never know for the rest of the weeks. He is the number 2. We pop in there that Caleb Johnson just here, the rookie they brought in, just nothing for the year so far. How about a couple other favorites here? Tyler Algier, though, only got 5 touches this last week. All right, he still did a little something with it, and he got at New Orleans, which is a better schedule. He pops in there. He scores a lot for them. I guess Penix is probably going to be out here, and, well, definitely going to be out. And we're going to go with Kirk Cousins, so different thing, but they're at New Orleans, so that should be a competitive game for him. Sean Tucker, everyone's going to have him number 1 after that explosive week, but Bucky Irving is questionable to come back. Rashad White, and the big one is the number 3 schedule against at the Rams. Terrible schedule. I don't know about Sean Tucker. A lot of people be crying for him, but hey, that's a tough matchup, and he's triple sharing. All right, there. Nick Chubb only 3 touches last week, right? Hey, of course, they got easy schedule at home against Buffalo. Maybe he'll get lucky and get one in. So you got to keep an eye on him. Of course, Woody Marks, the going to get more popular there to have, and he scored some too. But hey, just let's take a look at Nick Chubb possibly this next week. Singletary, of course, this is more of a year play because Tyrone Tracy's still going to be there. But they got a tough matchup at Detroit, number 2. You wouldn't want him for this week. That's why he's down on the list here. How about Chris Rodriguez? But you can't play him this week, right? But he seems to slowly be taking over there with these 16 touches. They're off a bye. Coming off that bye, maybe it would be focused more on Chris Rodriguez, so you'd want to owe him for the next week. Blake Corum, hey, you want to hold him just in case something happens. Kyrene Williams been scoring good. Blake Corum, up until this last week, had been scoring enough that, hey, if you had to get by, but he would be the handcuff. How about Tanks Bigsby and Tootin? Right, Tank Bigsby, he's the backup there for Philadelphia, right? But easy schedule at Dallas. Hey, maybe, only 4 touches this last week, but Tank Bigsby's still the name to know there. How about how about Tootin here? Had it coming off a big week, but he's questionable with an ankle, so we have to see how he comes out of that. And plus, they still got Travis Etienne scoring good. And, of course, that Allen popped in here this last week. LaQuentin Allen popped in for a few. You can see their touches. So, hey, Tootin, if he's healthy, obviously. But Bam Knight down here. Well, tough matchup at Jacksonville. You just don't know. He did come in and got a touchdown. It's like 9 touches. So, and of course, Michael Carter, his teammate, had 7 touches. I don't know which one you'd rather have. How about Keaton Mitchell here? Down at the bottom of the list. He's been getting more and more here, sneaking in with these 8 touches. Justice Hill, of course, is questionable with a toe. But they've been putting this Keaton Mitchell in there a little bit more. As maybe they'll go put him in there towards the end there. And McLaughlin here, right? J.K. Dobbins is out. McLaughlin only got 7 touches. Harvey, of course, I'm going to be getting a lot of those too, and they're on a bye anyway. So, but for the week after, a couple of those deep ones. All right, let's look at the running backs. I'm thinking Emmanuel Wilson and his Gainwell. Got to look at the injuries, but hey, get them on your team anyway. They're great backups. All right, let's take a look at this.